Just saying, man, I'm coming at y'all with another banger of a video. Now, this video, y'all might call me a hater, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine, because I'll be that. I will be the hater. I will be the villain in your story, in your origin story, if that's what you need me to be when I say this. Jordan is not #1 all time. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor is the best basketball player, best man to touch a basketball on planet Earth ever. Basically, I'm gonna just spit it out and I'm gonna say it. Kareem is #1 all time, Jordan is #2, LeBron is 3, and Kobe is 4. Yes, I said it. This is not hyperbole. I'm not joking. I am serious. I'm not gonna be like those other content creators that do not expand upon what I'm talking about. If you follow my TikTok, you would see I made a video on this, but I didn't have the time to really expand upon it the way I wanted to. So if you're here from TikTok, welcome. You get to listen to my opinion, my take, because some of y'all were saying some stupid shit like Kareem only has 2 rings. Kareem has 6 rings. We all know this. You got to do better, fellow TikToker that said that. Again, like I said, if you follow my TikTok, you would have seen I started the little discussion on this. So if you don't follow my TikTok, go do that. Trill Buckets, or link in the description. Same with my Twitter, Instagram. We talking about all basketball related shit everywhere. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, I'm gonna let you guys know this now. Like I said, I'm not gonna be one of those content creators that doesn't expand upon what they're saying and just lives off of a hot take and tries to, you know, get shock value out of people and things like that. Like, I'm literally going to break down the numbers and break down my opinion, why I believe he is the better player over Michael Jordan. Now, again, this is all opinionated, and I'm just a basketball fan that likes to give my opinion on basketball. So if you disagree, let me know why you disagree in the comments below. Stay respectful. Let's get into it. So when we're talking solely numbers, you know, the 5 basic stat categories, you know, points per game, assists per game, rebounds per game, steals per game, and blocks per game, Kareem isn't top 5 when you're just looking at those stats. But one reason people have forgotten Kareem's greatness for what it really is his longevity. What I mean by his longevity is the fact that Kareem played until he was 41 years of age. Now, this wasn't because he was still all-world talent and just cooking the league, taking it by storm. The way we're seeing guys like LeBron do at age 37. It was in large part due to the fact that he was in major debt, and the NBA was his best form of paying off that debt. So due to this, Kareem played a bevy amount of games, more than most superstars really do, where we saw Kareem, he played 1,560 games, where if we're gonna compare it to Jordan, because that's who we're comparing this video to, Jordan played 1,072 games. When you look at Kareem's numbers through the same number of games, which honestly, that's what you have to do, because if we're going to use averages and we're going to compare 2 people properly, you have to even them out. Now, I didn't even them out completely, so we're going to just round Kareem's games to 1,090 games because Jordan played 1,072. So it is roughly a little bit higher because he did still play more games than Jordan, but it's not almost 500 games more than Jordan. Now, if we look at the points per game, right now Kareem sits at 24.6 points per game, which is 11th all time. Now, if you scale that down through 1,090 games, Kareem averages 27.3 points per game, which would end up being 5th all time behind Jordan, Wilt, LeBron, and Elgin Baylor. Yes, Jordan is above him. As you see, it is a 3-point difference, and that's what I mean when I say you have to even the playing field, make it even so that we can have a true debate, have a true argument, whatever you want to call it. Now, with rebounds, currently Kareem is 24th with 11.1 average in his career. Again, scaling that down, he would come down to 10th on the list, and he's averaging 13.2 rebounds per game, which he would be 3rd behind only Wes Unseld and Dave Combs in terms of the after 60s players. Now, assists per game, personally, I didn't really factor that in too much because of the fact that Jordan, he was a shooter, he was a scorer. You're looking for him to score. Same with Kareem, he was a 7'3", pretty much demigod that had a mid-range game like no other and an unstoppable skyhook. You were not looking for them to pass. The Bulls had Scottie to do that, and the Lakers had Magic to do that. You were not looking for either one of them to pass. But if you guys do care to know, his average for assists per game goes up to 4.6, which would be 1st among all centers. And Bill Walton, considered to be the greatest passing big ever, he had one season where he averaged more. Now with defense, I feel like defense is very subjective. A lot of people value defense in different ways. Some people find the value in people that can play lockdown defense on the perimeter. Some people love the defensive anchor that can sit under the rim like a Rudy Gobert or Shaquille O'Neal. Me personally, I like a player that can do what is within his role. It does not matter what you do, whatever your role is for your team. And as a basketball fan, you can normally see what a player's role is just by watching a couple games, maybe just one game, truth be told. Scaling it back to 1,090 games again, Kareem would have averaged 3.7 blocks per game, which of course is first all time, and most likely the only player that would have surpassed that would have been Bill Russell, but when he played, stats weren't recorded for blocks. Kareem also averaged more fouls than blocks in this time, and the only other people that also did this were Mark Eaton, Hakeem Olajuwon, Alonzo Mourning, Ben Wallace, Marcus Camby, and Dwight Howard. All those players averaged more fouls than blocks, and those were the years they won DPOY. Dikembe had numbers close to what Kareem did in terms of blocks, and he won 3 Defensive Player of the Year in 4 years. So truth be told, it might be safe to say Kareem would have won more DPOYs, but the reason that is important is because when Kareem first got into the league, Defensive Player of the Year was not a thing. Kareem led the NBA in blocks 4 times, and in those years he averaged more than blocks than fouls with a ratio of 1.27, which was far more than anyone else during that time. And again, Defensive Player of the Year wasn't around during that time, but Kareem should and would have won. In the first year, Kareem led the NBA in rebounds and blocks, and in the second year, he led the NBA in rebounds per game and blocks per game. In the third year, Kareem deservedly got voted into the all-defensive first team over Dave Cowens. And Dave Cowens, he was known for his defense, but if you look at his numbers, he fouled quite a bit, and personally, I think he was pretty overrated. And I'm confident in saying, had the Defensive Player of the Year award been around, Kareem would have won it all 3 of those years. Now, I feel like this is a main theme in the Jordan debate, whether it's a debate with anybody or anything, but Jordan fans seem to underrate Scottie Pippen and what he did and what he brought to the team. You know, when I look at LeBron teams after he leaves, I don't see them as contenders. That hasn't happened with the exception of maybe this Miami Heat team, but they're so far removed from the LeBron era that you can't really say this team has similarities to that era. Now, Jordan, without Scottie Pippen in the postseason, he's 5-15. And to say that Pippen doesn't compare to Jordan is crazy in my opinion. In the Bull games that I've watched, which isn't very many because of course I'm young, Pippen is often the one rotating on defense and guarding the main guy on the other team more often than not. Pippen was a better defender than Jordan, and in my opinion, and I've said this for a while, even on older TikTok, Jordan wasn't really that great of a defender the way people make it seem. He was a clutch defender, yes, but a great defender, no. There is a difference. Again, in the 2 years that the Bulls did not have Jordan and Pippen was the guy, the Bulls won 55 games and lost to the NBA Finals winner Knicks in 7 games in the second round. The next year, the Bulls won 47 games in the second year, and they lost to the Magic, who was also in the NBA Finals, and they lost in 6 games in the second round. So they put up a fight all without Jordan, and they lost to the eventual NBA Finals winner. So to me, I think Scottie's contribution is massively, massively underrated. Now, in conclusion, we're going to go with these accolades because Kareem's accolades are crazy. And I don't think people really realize how good this dude really was. When you look at it, Kareem is a 6-time MVP. He's a 2-time Finals MVP. Not to mention, he brought a Bucks team that was a 27-win team to a 57-win team and won the finals with them and was the Finals MVP. And that's honestly just a response to those that say, oh, he was on a Magic team where he wasn't the driver. But most people like to say he wasn't the bus driver on those Lakers team, when really and truly he was the smart veteran and did what smart veterans do and allowed Magic the control of the team. Why? Because he's the floor general, he's the point guard, he's the extension of the coach. Kareem did his job and he did what he had to do to really groom Magic into being the player he was. Kareem was a 5th-time All-NBA selectee, a 19-time All-Star. He was a 2-time scoring champ at 7'2", and he was an 11-time All-Defensive Player of the Year. Now, like I said in the beginning, this is all opinionated and this is all based on my own takes and how I interpret the numbers for myself. But with that being said, I want you guys to do the same thing. Again, comment below, let me know who you think is the better player. And with that being said, this is all opinionated. Jordan might be better, I could be wrong, it doesn't matter. But guess what? I'm not wrong. So, like I always say, for all of you that are new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. If you found yourself liking this video, if you're not new, go ahead and hit that like button. Again, tell me who is better, Jordan or Kareem. I got Kareem #1. And you know, Jordan's about to be #3 behind LeBron. But that's the story for another day. Till next time, it is your boy TB with the greatest hoop stories on the tube. And I'm out.